Okay, so I might pre-film one more video for tonight, and I'm going to continue with scary stories to tell in the dark, because why not? And I might lie to you, because I might upload more, you never know. Or not upload, but film more. One Sunday Morning is the name of this one. Oh, by the way, I'm watching Scooby-Doo. I'm just going to unpause it real quick, so I can make sure it doesn't, go to the main screen or whatever. Okay, so this one's called One Sunday Morning. Ada always went to the 7 o'clock Sunday morning service at her church. Usually she heard the clanging of the church bells while she was eating breakfast, but this morning she heard them while she was still in bed. That means I'm late, she thought. Ada jumped out of bed, quickly dressed, and left without eating or looking at the clock. It was still dark outside, but it usually was dark at this time of year. Ada was the only one on the street. The only sounds she heard were the clatter of her shoes on the pavement. Everybody must already be in church, she thought. Ada took a shortcut through the cemetery, then she quietly slipped into the church and found a seat. The service had already begun. When she caught her breath, Ada looked around. The church was filled with people she had never seen before, but the woman next to her did look familiar. Ada smiled at her. It's Josephine Kerr, she thought. But she's dead. She died a month ago. Suddenly, Ada felt uneasy. She looked around again. As her eyes began to adjust to the dim light, Ada saw some skeletons in suits and dresses. This is the service for the dead, Ada thought. Everybody here is dead except me. Ada noticed that some of them were staring at her. They looked angry, as if she had no business there. Josephine Kerr leaned toward her and whispered, "Leave right after the benediction if you care for your life." I honestly don't know what benediction is, so let me know down below if you guys know. When the service came to an end, the minister gave his blessing. "Lord bless you and keep you," he said. The Lord make his face to shine upon you." Ada grabbed her coat and walked quickly toward the door. When she heard footsteps behind her, she glanced back. Several of the dead were coming towards her. Others were getting up to join them. The Lord lift up his countenance to you," the minister went on. Ada was so frightened she began to run. Out the door she ran with a pack of stricken ghosts at her heels. "Get out," one of them screamed. Another shouted, "You don't belong here," and ripped her coat away. As Ada ran through the cemetery, a third grabbed the hat from her head. "Don't come back," it screamed, and shook its arms at her. By the time Ada reached the street, the sun was rising and the dead had disappeared. Did this really happen? Ada asked herself, or have I been dreaming? That afternoon, one of Ida's friends brought over her coat and hat, or what was left of them. They had been found in the cemetery, torn to shreds. So it really happened. That's just great. That's scary. Okay. So this one's called Sounds. The house was near the beach. It was a big old place where nobody had lived for years. From time to time, somebody would force open a window or a door and spend the night there, but never longer. Three fishermen caught in the storm took shelter there. With some dry wood they found inside, they made a fire in the fireplace. They lay down on the floor and tried to get some sleep, but none of them slept that night. First they heard footsteps upstairs. It sounded like there were several people moving back and forth. When one of the fishermen called, "Who's up there?" the footsteps stopped. Then they heard a woman scream. The scream turned into a groan and died away. Blood began to drip from the ceiling into the room where the fishermen huddled. A small red pool formed on the floor and soaked into the wood. A door upstairs crashed shut, and again the woman screamed. "Not me," she cried. It sounded as if she was running, her high heels tapping wildly down the hall. "I'll get you," a man shouted, and the floor shook as he chased her. Then silence. There wasn't a sound until the man who had shouted began to laugh. Long peals of horrible laughter filled the house. It went on and on until the fishermen thought they would go mad. When it finally stopped, the fishermen heard someone coming down the stairs dragging something heavy that bumped on each step. They heard him drag it through the front hall and out the front door. The door opened, then it slammed shut against silence. Suddenly, a flash of lightning filled the house with a green blaze of light. A ghastly face stared at the fishermen from the hallway. Then came a crash of thunder. Terrified, they ran out into the storm. That does sound scary. I forgot to show you guys the pictures in the last one. There's a picture for that one. That's really, really scary. Oh, yeah. This next one is called A Weird Blue Light. And there's the picture. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to do my best. Let me just unpause this because I don't want it kicking me out real quick. Okay, there we go. Late one night in October 1864, a Confederate blockade runner slipped by some Union gunboats at the entrance to Galveston Bay in Texas, which obviously is a real place, and made it safely to port with its cargo of food and other necessities. Lewis Billings, the master of the small vessel, was getting ready to weigh anchor when he was startled by a shriek from one of the crew. I'm sorry if I'm reading really fast. I'm just a fast reader, I guess. A strange old-fashioned schooner, I'm not sure how to say that word, schooner, with a big black flag was rushing down at us, Billings said later. She was afire with a sort of weird pale blue light that lighted up every nook and cranny of her. The crew was pulling at the ropes and doing other work, and they paid us no attention, didn't even glance our way. They all had ghastly bleeding wounds, but their faces and eyes were those of dead men. The man who had shrieked had fallen to his knees, his teeth chattering as he gasped at a prayer. Overcoming my own terror that was chilling the very marrow of my bones, I rushed forward, shouting to the others as I ran. Suddenly, a schooner vanished before my eyes. Some say that it was the ghost of Jean Lafayette's pirate ship Pride that sank off Galveston Island in 1821 or 1822. She was seen again in 1892 in the same waters with the same crew. I don't know if that was like a real story, because most of these are fake, but that sounded kind of real. I don't know. Let me guys know what you think. I'm probably going to stop at this story because the next one is a little bit longer. And I might pre-film another video, so I think I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, let me know, guys. Do you like scary stories to tell in the dark? Did you see the movie? Do you read the books? I like reading them on my channel. And I hope you guys enjoy, because I did read the first one, like I broke it up into different parts as well. So let me know down below if you like these videos. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Bye, guys.